Hi there. I wanted to talk a little bit today about the upcoming holidays. It's Halloween here in a couple of days, and that sort of ticks off the season of lots and lots of holidays that revolve around food, family, and friends, which when things are going great can be awesome, and when things are a little less great, pretty stressful. So if you are in the midst of nutritionally rehabilitating a loved one with an eating disorder, especially if you're refeeding for weight gain, I think it's a really important thing to sort of think about in advance about how you're going to handle the upcoming holidays. So the first thing I want to say is just because you've always done something some way doesn't mean you have to do it that way this year. And if you don't do it that way this year, that doesn't mean you're never going to do it again. It just means that this year you're doing what you need to do to keep things headed in the right direction in terms of your loved one's recovery. So feel free to opt out of some things, opt out of all things, whatever seems to sort of suit you. If you decide to go the opt-out route, I actually have a draft of a template of a letter that you can fill in and send to family and friends, sort of just to let everyone know, you won't be participating and how they can support you. So I encourage you to take a look at that. If you do decide that you're going to do some or all of the things that you normally do, I really encourage you to have a cope ahead plan. So that is everything from, thinking about who's going to be there, what's going to happen if things get stressful, having a signal. It could be, I've heard of a lot of families where, if the child can give them just, a 5 minutes head start of, I'm going to lose it, this is not going well. The parent then will say, hey, I'm not feeling well. I need to go, so we're going to wrap up here and head out. We'll catch you later sort of thing. When you think about the holidays, just really think about the ways in which they can make it a little more complicated if you're in the throes of, especially like refeeding for weight gain. Eating in front of other people can be very, very stressful. Eating at unpredictable times can be stressful. And when I know as the cook pulling together Thanksgiving dinner, you cannot hold me to the fact that it's going to be exactly on the dot of a certain hour, because I don't think that's ever happened, which is normal. The foods are they're not the foods that we eat during the rest of the year all the time. Very focused on sort of more treat foods and things like that. So that can cause a little bit of stress. And even the most well-meaning of people who've sort of been given advance notice are unlikely to have a whole group of people who can avoid saying something that would be triggering, sort of in terms of talking about the composition of the food. I've been so bad, I need to be good. I'm going to work this off. I pre-worked this off. I'm starting my diet tomorrow. I'm buying a bigger size pants. I wore an elastic waistband. Sort of all of that stuff that's just sort of a not helpful focus when you're trying to get someone who's terrified of eating to eat. So think about those things as you plan your upcoming holidays. And again, feel free to make this time what you need it to be to protect your sanity, to protect your child's recovery or your other loved one's recovery. And don't get hung up. I think one of the good things about going through this is it can really give you the capacity to sort of stop and think and go, I don't have to do everything I've always done. And just because I don't do it this year doesn't mean I'm not going to do it next year. And just a little bit more freedom to really check in with yourself, check in with your stress levels, how that feels in your body, all that sort of stuff, and do the things that are moving you forward into a more positive place and avoid those things that are dragging you down into a more stressful or negative place. And so with that, whatever you decide to do with your holidays, I hope that they are as happy as they can be, and if you're not in a place for them to be happy, as the least miserable that they can be, and hopefully in a way that moves you forward into recovery so that next year these are not things you have to think about in the same way. Thanks a lot.